Hello, friends. To dive into today's topic, I want to begin with a story. In a small town, Aiden Mercer, a quiet teenager, always felt like he faded into the background. Every day he passed by the community bulletin board where Leo Campbell, confident and outstanding, always shined. Aiden didn't hate Leo. On the contrary, he admired him. But over time, that admiration turned into painful comparison, especially when Leo won the state scholarship and Aiden didn't. One stormy night, on the cliff near the old lighthouse, Aiden met Elias, the keeper with deep, thoughtful eyes. "Why are you really here, kid?" Elias asked. Aiden hesitated, then said, "Because I've tried so hard, but it's never enough. No matter what I do, there's always someone better." Elias replied, "Let nature teach you." He led Aiden along a path lined with wildflowers and pointed to a tall cedar tree and the small moss at its base. "The tree stands out, but the moss keeps the soil from washing away. Everything has value, no need to compare," Elias explained calmly. He told Aiden to look deeper, beyond appearances, to find the meaning of existence. The next morning, in the coastal forest, Elias asked Aiden to write down what stood out to him. Aiden wrote, "A crooked pine still growing, a hummingbird flashing by, an ugly mushroom thriving in harsh ground." When Elias asked which one was most valuable, Aiden hesitated. "Each one has its role," he answered. Elias smiled. "Exactly. Don't ask who's better, ask what gives me meaning." He taught Aiden that comparison only clouds your own worth, just like a lighthouse doesn't compete with the sun, but still guides the way. Elias gave him an assignment. Each night, Aiden would write letters to the forgotten parts of himself: curiosity, persistence, the ability to listen. Through each letter, Aiden realized he had empathy and quiet strength, things Leo didn't have. The final challenge was a day of silence, just observing. Sitting on a rock, Aiden felt peace. He no longer wanted to be anyone else. Back at school, when Leo admitted the pressure he was under, Aiden understood. Everyone has their own shadows. Years later, Aiden, now a writer, would write, "Be the lighthouse, shine not to compete, but to guide yourself and others." The story, The Lighthouse Lesson, is not just about a boy named Aiden rediscovering his self-worth, but also a vivid reminder of one of the most important life lessons in today's world. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Each part of the story offers a thoughtful glimpse into an inner journey, from confusion to clarity, from envy to gratitude, from insecurity to peace. The 7 philosophical insights woven into Aiden's experience make this story more profound and thought-provoking than ever. The story begins with Aiden constantly feeling inadequate when comparing himself to Leo, who won the state scholarship while Aiden didn't. This feeling isn't just a teenage problem, it reflects a common reality in modern society. Comparison has become nearly unavoidable, especially in the age of social media. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn keep pulling us into a cycle of polished images, exaggerated successes, and stories told in the most glamorous ways. Someone may have just received an award at work, but after scrolling past a post about someone else's luxury vacation, they instantly feel like their life isn't good enough. This kind of comparison isn't limited to material achievements or appearance. It sneaks into emotional and mental aspects as well. A person might feel like they're not happy enough when they see friends posting wedding photos, not smart enough when reading about someone's academic success, or not creative enough compared to viral content online. Aiden fell into a similar mindset. He didn't hate Leo. In fact, he admired him. But that admiration became a distorted lens through which Aiden only saw his own shortcomings. The first lesson from the story is that no two journeys are the same. Everyone moves at their own pace, with their own goals and circumstances. In today's society, recognizing this is the first step toward escaping the trap of comparison. Instead of watching someone else's path, we need to focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. This doesn't mean ignoring other people's success. It means learning to appreciate our own unique journey. One of the most powerful moments in the story is when Aiden admits to Elias that despite trying so hard, he still feels like he's not enough, because there's always someone better. That feeling not only hurts our self-esteem, but also fuels jealousy and insecurity, 2 emotions that can be deeply damaging. In today's world, jealousy often shows up in highly competitive environments like schools, workplaces, or even in personal relationships. A student might feel envious of a classmate's high grades. An employee might feel insecure when a coworker gets promoted. A friend might feel a sting of comparison when they see someone else living a life that seems perfect. These emotions don't just reduce personal happiness, they also create distance between people. Aiden once believed Leo was the perfect model, but later, when Leo opened up about his own struggles, Aiden realized no one is truly perfect. Everyone has their own shadows, their own internal battles that outsiders can't see. That's an important lesson. Comparison shows us only the surface, not the whole story. In today's world, learning to view others with empathy instead of rivalry can help us build more genuine relationships and release unnecessary pressure. These emotions not only reduce personal happiness, but also create distance between people. Aiden once thought Leo was the perfect role model, but later, when Leo shared the pressure he was under, Aiden realized that no one is truly perfect. Everyone carries their own shadows, their own inner battles that outsiders cannot see. This is an important lesson. Comparison only shows us the surface, not the whole story. In today's world, learning to view others with empathy instead of rivalry helps us build more genuine relationships and ease unnecessary pressure. One of the challenges Elias gave Aiden was to write letters to the forgotten qualities within himself, like curiosity, persistence, and the ability to listen. Through each letter, Aiden began to see the value in the things he had once overlooked. This is a profound lesson that modern society urgently needs. Gratitude is the antidote to comparison. In a world constantly chasing the next big thing, from technology to fashion to personal achievements, people easily fall into the trap of focusing on what they lack. We want a better job, a bigger house, a more perfect body, but few pause to appreciate what they already have: health, family, friends, or even simple moments like a quiet morning. Gratitude doesn't just help us find balance, it reignites our passion for life. When Aiden learned to be grateful for his quiet traits, he not only felt more at peace, but also discovered an inner strength he had never noticed before. In practice, gratitude can be cultivated through simple habits, like writing a daily gratitude journal, listing 3 good things that happened, or taking time to appreciate small moments. Psychological research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude tend to be happier, less stressed, and more resilient in the face of hardship. So instead of comparing yourself to others, take time to notice what makes you unique. One of the key moments in the story is when Elias points out the tall cedar tree and the small moss below it, explaining that each has its own value and there's no need to compare. This is a powerful message. Your worth is not in standing out more than others, but in living true to your own nature. In today's society, personal value is often equated with measurable things: the number of likes on social media, salary, number of friends, or even hours worked. Young people, especially Gen Z, often feel pressured to succeed by standards imposed by society. But this leads to a paradox. The more they chase external benchmarks, the more they lose connection with themselves. Aiden learned that he didn't need to be like Leo to feel worthy. He had empathy, the ability to listen, and perseverance, traits that aren't always visible but are deeply valuable. This lesson reminds us that everyone has a unique role in the world. A dedicated teacher, a friend who always listens, or an artist who quietly creates, all have value without needing to compare themselves to celebrities or traditional definitions of success. In life, ask yourself, what gives my life meaning? Instead of, am I better than someone else? Elias taught Aiden that if you measure yourself by someone else's standards, you'll always feel lacking. In today's world, the norms set by media and society are very clear, from ideal body images and advertisements to stories of entrepreneurs succeeding at a young age. All of this creates invisible pressure that you must reach certain milestones to be considered enough. But these standards often don't reflect reality, and they certainly don't reflect a person's true value. Aiden learned to live according to his own core values, instead of chasing what society defines as success. This is especially important in a world where diverse goals and lifestyles are increasingly respected. One person might choose minimalism and focus on personal happiness rather than career advancement. Another might spend a lifetime pursuing art, even without making much money. These paths are no less meaningful than traditional ones, as long as they align with a person's inner values. The silence challenge Elias gave Aiden is one of the most beautiful moments in the story. In stillness, Aiden learned to observe the world without judgment, and more importantly, to listen to himself. In modern life, silence has become a rarity. We're surrounded by noise, from phone notifications to constant news updates and endless conversations. As a result, we rarely pause to ask, what do I really want? Am I on the right path? Practices like meditation, journaling, or simply taking a few minutes each day to unplug from the outside world can make a huge difference. These quiet moments help us see ourselves more clearly, recognize small but meaningful progress, and regain balance. For Aiden, that silence helped him realize that he didn't need to become anyone else to feel whole. In today's fast-paced world, practicing silence might just be the key to easing pressure and rediscovering meaning. The image of the lighthouse is a symbol that runs throughout the story. Elias explained that the lighthouse doesn't need to compete with the sun or the moon. It only needs to stand firm and shine in its own way. This is the final and most powerful message. Success is not about being the center of attention, but about living true to your purpose. In modern society, we are often obsessed with standing out, being the best. But not everyone needs to be a star to make a difference. Some people lead by listening, through patience, through quiet contribution. Aiden, once an insecure teen, became a writer, not to compete with anyone, but to inspire and illuminate others. This reminds us that everyone has their own light, and shining in your own way is enough. The Lighthouse lesson is not just Aiden's personal journey. It is a reminder for all of us in today's society. In a world full of comparison, pressure, and noise, reclaiming your self-worth is an act of courage. The 7 lessons from the story, from recognizing that each journey is unique, to replacing comparison with gratitude, and finally living true to your role, are a guide for living a free, meaningful, and fulfilling life. Remember, you don't need to be like anyone else to be worthy. You don't need to chase someone else's standards to feel enough, and you don't need to be the center of attention to be considered successful. Like the lighthouse in the story, stand firm, shine your own light, and you'll not only find peace, but become a guiding light for those around you. In a world where competition can easily obscure personal value, staying true to yourself is the only path to a truly fulfilling life. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.